welcome back to Dishonored, the Brigmore Witches. It's been a couple days since I last played, so I might be a bit out of touch. So, what exactly are the goals we have at the moment? We need to restore the ship's engine. We need to do that by finding the ship's engine coil in a texture mill where the hatters are. For that, we have to find Giza. And it would also be nice if we could find a wedding ring.
Who just went through here? The Empress did. She had Corvo Otana with her. They weren't wearing no clothes. Keep your hat on. I was just asking. Just because you're in charge of the gate, it don't mean the rest of us are idiots. Yeah? Well, since you're such a genius, it ought to be real easy to see who it was. So go check it out. Fine. I don't know why you're worried about nothing.
Really? That should have been a trouble assassination. Okay. Well, at least we start off this video like it will probably continue, with horrible amounts of failure. That's more like it. Texture mill yard key.
What?
Okay.
Where are you? I know you're here. Maybe you're hallucinating. Where'd you run off to?
Alright, so how do I make a good escape from this situation?
Oh, I'll find you. Here you are.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I did not anticipate him, I guess, having eyes that work. I thought I was above him. Okay. But I'm stuck. So, let's see, we have a bone charm around here. Nobody alive. Good. Rune grenades. Skeeves is gone. It looks like Skeeves ain't coming back from his patrol. It's been 6 days now. Don't get me wrong, I ain't grieving cause Skeeves and me didn't see eye to eye on many things. But it makes me sad because he swore he'd bring back a tremendous stash of coin he knew about up in the dried out waterway. I figured I'd part him from all those coins in a few card games, but it ain't to be. Who knows? If that water ever comes back again, it may flush him out. But I doubt it. When you get off duty tonight, we need to drink a toast to all Skeeves. Great. No thanks, I don't need a... The Red Plague, hooray! Who doesn't love books? But we do now know about some... Oh. We are in the building, I guess. And you are all by yourself. should never be all by yourself. It's deadly. But it does know that we now know that in the old waterways there is a guy with a lot of money, so that's nice to know. The Rat Plague. Excerpt from a Natural Philosopher's Notes. For over a year I've studied this cursed plague, collecting and dissecting rats by the thousands. Given their rapid gestation and maturation cycle, it's been possible to breed them for numerous generations. The rodents themselves seem immune to the plague, but they pass it readily between members of their own species, perhaps through mites. The blood of the rat tells its own story, allowing me to gauge the number of generations that a given group of rats have lived with the plague. As such, a nagging question remains. The rats collected in the poorest parts of town, in the slums, exhibit the oldest strains of the plague, while those found near the docks, where the foreign plague-bearing rats would presumably have entered our city, exhibit a younger strain of the plague. Could this mean that the rats were transported to the slums in some way that is not obvious? I'll continue my research. If nothing else, I'm living proof that Sokolov's elixirs and Piero's remedy are very effective at protecting against the plague, if one consumes enough of the stuff. Yeah, I'm not really going into all that in this series because it doesn't really matter to this Let's Play. They have set up a lot of traps. So I can trigger the trap wires. Oh, those are for those traps, of course. Which means I can get my hands on some grab bolts if I can see where it... there it is. Oh wow, that thing was going to shoot a bloody grenade at me. Pleasant. But... so how do I get... I was going to ask how do I get down there? Oh, probably with the stairs. Better question. Why would I want to get down there? I mean, it's not like there's something incredibly special down there. Seems like a grenade, something worth a bit of money, and one of those gas grenades. Going to take out this guy and hopefully not get spotted by his lady friends. Wait, you look civilian. I don't really take out civilians, if I can help it. Oh, I can't go up there. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say because, well, I'm kind of just sneaking around here, trying to see who I can get rid of one by one. I don't know if these guys are civilians. Oh, come on. There we go. Who spotted me? I'm sure it was. I have to go near her though. Whoa. Oh god, this thing turns very slow.
I told her to keep the children inside. I told her.
I know non-lethal is not really my way of doing things, but well, I don't know. I don't want. I don't attack civilians. Those are those gates that you can open, but well, you can't. Keep out. No admittance without nurse tumble.
Wakefield's miscalculated badly. I predicted this would happen, of course. A man like Wakefield knows which end of a knife is for stabbing, but not much else. What's that? Oh, stop complaining, old man. I'm giving you a legacy. What were the Hatters before I arrived? I'll tell you. A shadow of their former selves. The butt of numerous jokes, in fact. Why did the Hatter piss in his own hat? What did the Hatter do with his last bullet? And so on. The answers aren't worth repeating. Leadership. That's what was missing. What with the embarrassing defeat at the hands of the Bottle Street Boys of all things. There now. You mustn't become agitated. You'll inflame your arteries, which will only cause you unneeded agony. I can ease the pain, but only if you promise to behave yourself. No? Ah, that reminds me. I must see Jerome about getting more Oxrush. I'm fresh out.
Well, that is unpleasant. Yeah, I'm using a bit of foreknowledge here, and well, I still don't exactly know what will happen when I do this, but yeah, I need an audio play for that first. So yeah, this is kind of the thing I was after, the experiment timer. So I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. If I remember correctly, you can talk to that Nurse Timble guy, but if you distract him with the timer, you can also talk to that guy. I don't remember what I did. So, something for me to listen to, a note to read, and a book to read. Or 2 books to read. So, is this a health file? Isn't this supposed to give me a... Guess not. But yeah, I don't remember me ever trying the talking to the guy. I don't remember if I talked to Timble, but I think I did. I never talked to the guy himself, so yeah, that's what I kind of want to try here. The effects of whale oil on gastric humus, Volume 1. Excerpt from a Natural Philosopher's Notes on the effect of whale oil on the gastrointestinal functions. One benefit of this plague is that the abundance of unclaimed body readily available to the inquisitive medical mind. this is something that well, if he's dead, then his body is not going to have any use, so why not test on it? I've been able to stimulate gastric functions in addition to other organ activity through infusion of whale oil on the application of electrical impulses. I believe that such treatment could be applied to the living that might prolong life indefinitely. Got me interested. When my process is applied to the stomach of intestinal systems, digestion does in fact still occur, though the end product must be evacuated from the stomach through tubing and processed by my machinery before being recirculated to the appropriate organs. This was a tricky solution to come across, as my first inclination was to break the food down myself and bypass the natural processes altogether. My subject has indicated that he no longer has a sense of taste, but that might be a mercy given what I'm feeding him these days. Joy. So yeah, if I remember correctly, that guy is... Well, didn't whatever Lady Sharptooth, who loves to cut off your fingers, say that he was over 100 years old? Yeah, this is apparently how they did it. Volume 2. My primary patient is no longer mobile. A loss of bone density, coupled with the amount of organ maintenance that I have to perform on a daily basis, means that he'll be bound to a chair or bed for the foreseeable future. While this greatly agitated the subject at first, he quickly grew too fatigued to offer further protest. Great, I mean he no longer had the strength to complain. I cleared a room close to my lab, but with access to the mill so he could continue to give orders. Update. After 3 weeks of regression, the yellowish soils have reappeared around implementation site C. I was holding out hope for full recovery, as the highest concentration of whale oil was pumped into this site in particular. And the timer calibration. The calibration of my experimental timer is slightly off. This should be fixed immediately. I like to check my experiments immediately after the bell chimes. I have this all perfectly timed for the bell ring to the walk to my lab. I have this all perfectly timed from the bell ring to the walk to my lab. Oh, okay. So he has some experiments he wants to check up every time the bell rings. Then every time the bell rings, and then he walks up to it. Then it should be seen. This should be a top priority after you return from restoring the water flow in the sewers. Trimble.
Trimble's got good handwriting, which makes me distrust him.
Wait, a doctor with good handwriting? Yeah. Anybody is going to buy that, huh? Alright, set it for 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it really is off.
Down. Quick. Come close. Before that son of a bitch Trimble gets back. Look at the pickle I'm in. Words out about your deal with Lizzie. I know why you're here. You want that engine coil? It's yours. You just have to do one thing, assassin. Kill me. this contraption, Trimble's machine. Get it off me. Let me die. I'll give you what you want.
All I have to do is pull that oil tank.
No, not yet. Trimble's machine keeps me alive, but he's rigged it so that gas will flood the mill if I die. Insurance. Search Trimble's quarters. Upstairs, he has antitoxin he drinks every day, just in case I croak. You'll have to make some to survive the gas.
But everyone will die. Not just you.
These hatters. They're not my hatters, don't deserve the name. Trimble's been calling the shots for years. They can choke and die, every last one.
Well, already then. And Trimble is coming back. Putting him to sleep would probably make this easier, but I don't know. So, how do we make this antitoxin? Oh, we still have this thing, didn't we? The antitoxin formula. Antitoxin formula needs the following: oxrush flower, brigmore from German in Draper's ward. I did that, didn't I? Bullrack fetus, one in dry storage room. We saw that one, didn't we? And metric salts, some on the manufacturing floor. All right. Oh, this should make it easy, shouldn't it? Because that means everybody will die. I mean, if I had a problem with killing everyone, that would make things complicated, but I don't. Small scale explosive refinement. Ooh, explosive bolts. Who doesn't love explosive bolts? They explode. Who isn't things that explode? So, manufacturing floor. We need to find some salts around here. Ah. Oh, no, there we don't go. Ah. Where do we do go? Metric salts. History of Lizzie Stride. Yeah, let's learn a bit about the person we are helping. Little is known of Elizabeth Stride's origin, except that she hailed from Morley. Already, she's called Elizabeth. Alright. Rumored to be the daughter of a seamstress and a travelling cloth merchant. Stride was forced to flee Morley in her early years after strangling an abusive schoolmaster. She smuggled herself out of the city disguised as a boy and became a power monkey on a navy ship. The ruse worked for a time, allowing her to see wonders and horrors that women in her society had always been denied. Her high spirit, charisma, and fierceness propelled her to the top of the pecking order in a small ship-bound community of children that grew loyal to her. And they grew loyal to her. Good God, I can't read anymore. Inevitably, her deception was discovered by the ship's surgeon when she was injured during a storm. Before the doctor could report her, she rallied her power monkeys to toss the man overboard. A bloody fight ensued, but their brief mutiny was crushed and many of her followers were put down. In the chaos, Lizzie and a handful of loyal boys managed to abandon the ship in a skiff. Afterwards, they found employment for a few seasons with a cartographer working along the coast of the Pandician continent to map estuaries. There the crew of children grew into experienced and savage fighters. At the conclusion of the mapping expedition, the crew sailed back to Crystal. Once in Dunwall, Lizzie and her hardened friends carved a space for themselves in the street culture of the city. Their nautical experience, no idea what that word is, had them at home on the Raven River, a territory previously unclaimed by any gang. They recruited former sailors, pirates, and defectors from other gangs. They took an unlikely lover. She took an unlikely lover, a naval aristocrat, and arranged for her to carry merchant marine papers, giving them legitimacy in the eyes of the government and allowing her to sail through territories normally restricted to merchants. Some of those same powder monkeys from the early years still follow her, helping pilot their cargo boat, the Undine, up and down the Renhaven on smuggling missions. As the leader of the Dead Eagles, Lizzie has an almost mythic reputation for ferocity. She follows her teeth to points and is even rumored to have webbed toes. Her enemies fear her unpredictable violence as much as they despise her. So, she did manage to become strong and everything by her own powers, so that's good? Don't know, can't really draw a conclusion out of that. And there we have Father Frog. Alrighty then. Now back to the lab and let's distill that. So it's not it wasn't for oh, I already have one on it. Let's create an antitoxin. Alright. Now that we drank the antitoxin, return to Giza. And let's draw, what's his name away again. Is it not now?
It's done. Good man. I guess you figured it out. You gotta kill me now. None of your fancy knife shit. Just pull out the oil tank. When it's out, I'll give you the code. Easiest job you ever pulled.
Fair enough. Will oil tank replacement. Warning. When replacing the oil pan that powers the pulmonary machine, you will have precious little time to do so. If you fail to the line and Mr. Head perishes, you will release a toxic gas that will end your life and that of your fellow Hatters. Have a care. Trimble.
It's
Lights out. What's the combination?
Dowd. You set me free, kid. Hatters are finished. That's good. And, something. Wish it had been Lizzie. I gave her the password a long time ago. But she never came. Beautiful smile.
I need that combination.
Right. You did your part.
Don't perish now.
Number is 6. 6.
Murderer! Who put you up to this?
Oh god. That was the wrong bloody... So, the code is 66 something. Missing mechanic. Send the head mechanic into the sewers and try and get the water flowing in the cardinal again, but he hasn't been heard from since. We've lost other men to investigate what happened to him. Trimble. Great! Just perfect. So we don't. Yeah, great. 66 something. So we have to use that code. Engine room. Okay, I'm going to try, I don't know, 666 because it's obvious, but... Let's have a look outside first. Is there anything that we can see? Is there a 66 something code around here? Oh, I guess that's the waterways. Probably a good idea to check that out as well. Alright, so let's first keep the last thing in its place. Oh, great, more rats. Gone to look into the water flow situation in the sewers. If you need access to the engine room while I'm away, talk to Nurse Trimble. He's the only other person with the door combination. Six. Oh wait, I just have to check 10 numbers. It's easy. Easiest job in the world. Neck bloaters are always a good way to get rid of rats.
Choke up metal wiring. If this gets me closer to Delilah's throat, so be it.
Alrighty then. And then there's the sewer that I want to check out. Because, well, there's somebody... I mean, I still need a ring, and I still need a... And there's somebody with a stash here. Come on, when are you going to spit your blade? I don't know what it is towards me. I know you are. There we go. Am I being shot? Yes, I am. Ready then. Oh. Alright, luckily for me, I'm a better shot. I guess that's the other entrance that we saw. Alrighty then. Oh god. Ah, crying out loud. How many forms of dangerous wildlife can one bloody sewer have? Alright, so... I'm creating nuts. Oh. I go under them, of course. Okay. There we go. And now what? Hello there, Mr. Death Hatter.
I doubt you'll be needing this again.
Mechanic apartment key. Nice. No idea what I need it for, but
She's auditioned, but done wrong. More like the golden cat. She caught that hat.
What if Dowd comes this way? He won't fall for a pretty face and a few tears.
That is so much for our sister. But we'll make sure the job is done.
oh, you're after me then, are ya? What's... Is that sword made of wood and a butterfly wing? Ah, that was beautiful. Oh, that last reaction, that was what made it brilliant. Just throwing a grenade. Shit. Boom. I mean, what else can you do at a moment like that?
I think Delilah wants us out of the way when her little ritual is all said and done.
Why?
Don't be dense. She's wait of us. When she dies, she'll only want the Weaver sisters nearby.
That makes no sense. Our power flows from Delilah. Without her, we'd be reduced to dancing under the moon with parlor tricks. We must go on.
Why else would she put us here, right in his path? I wish he'd hurry up and come already.
He can also teleport. Ah, that was strong power. I wanted to. Yes, I can teleport under it. Question is where to. Close, I think. Oh boy. There we go. Oh, this section is so much easier when you do it by just murdering everybody. I mean, if you can just murder everybody in your path, it's so much easier to... Because you don't have to position yourself right beside them. And you don't have to try and... Oh, fuck. And you don't have to try and be nice and non-lethal all the time, which is a lot easier. And we have a rune and a bone charm over here. And those things are... Oh, one's over there. Wherever over there is. Oh. So for the use of that thing. So... No, we have nothing in here. Really? Huh. That kinda sucks. Oh. Okay. Someone took the wrench from the water flow control valve. Please have someone find it and return it to the water control system. So, I guess that's what the other guy wanted me to do. Have this place be operational again. Yeah, I did teleport there, so I wouldn't have a take fall damage. So what does this give power to? Oh dear. Oh. Now that is interesting. I can't get past it. I'll take that. Broken fan. Do not use venting system until the fan motor is repaired. This thing nearly came off its drive shaft. I'll let you know when it's back up and ready to go. Oh, so that's what I do. Alright, let's give the thing some power then. See? Being a murderous bastard is so much easier. I want to say just like in real life, but well, unsurprisingly, I don't have a lot of experience with that.